What is up, guys? Winter Kills here. Welcome back to a brand new test hand video. This time around we're doing some DDDs. Of course, post dual overload, post Master Rule 5, post April 2020 ban list. Lots of things to be post of. But yeah, we're gonna just do some test hands with the build. I haven't made too many changes other than adding in Ashen Impermanence. I've also decided to add in the Dark Contract with Eternal Darkness, mainly because this card is just literally so easy to set up with Gilgachief or Gilgamesh, which we've finally gotten, of course, in Dual Overload. I haven't gotten my physical copy yet, still rocking the proxies. Same thing with my Needlechief, don't have that card yet in real life. They are on the way, though, and hopefully we'll be here in time for the updated deck profile. But yeah, if you guys are interested in these sleeves that I'm rocking here on the main deck, these are Imperium Duelist's Galaxy Effect sleeves. Perfect for blinging out your collection. Perfect for more casual use. Obviously, you guys can't use these in official sanctioned tournaments, but if you want to use them at locals, if everybody's okay with it, or just put them on your collection, they're absolutely gorgeous. I love these effects. The Galaxy Effect, probably my favorite. And I'm also rocking their tournament-ready armor sleeves on the extra deck, the two-toned colors. No effects on these, just crystal clear. Really, really nice sleeves. And this playmat, of course, if you guys are interested in picking up any of this stuff, check out Imperium Duelist down in the description below. And also, a link you'll find in the description below as well is my link to TCG Player, my affiliate link. Basically, if you buy any cards using that link, I will receive a small portion of the revenue from your purchase, at no extra cost to you guys. So if you want to help support the channel just by shopping on TCG Player like you normally would, that's a perfect way and a great way to help support me in doing what I do. Same thing with hitting that join button down below. You can click that for more information on becoming a member of the channel and getting in on some exclusive perks and rewards. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle here as per usual in these test hand videos, and we're going to go ahead and draw a 5-card hand, play out some going first combos, and see what we can pull off. Deck has been shuffled. Let's go ahead and draw into our first hand here and see what we got. Into the Void, DD Lamia, Ash Blossom, and Joyous Forehead. And our 5th and final card is a copy of DDD, Oblivion, Abyss Ragnarok. This hand is looking pretty abysmal. The Into the Void needs to save it, and does it? Yes, it gets us into Allure of Darkness, but we're not out of the woods yet. Allure into Coppernicus, and Swirl Slime looking a lot better now. We have multiple Lamias in our hand, so we don't need this additional copy. So we'll go ahead and sacrifice that one for the greater good. I'm going to now normal summon the Savant Coppernicus, and I'm just trying to get access to all the main pieces here. We have our Swirl Slime, we have our Lamia, we just need that Necro Slime now, and we're pretty much going to be set to start trying to combo off. Now I'm actually going to fusion here with the Swirl Slime and the Ragnarok, because I want this Lamia in hand to be able to revive, or not revive rather, but just to summon out to be able to help make Needlechief. Now from here, we're going to go ahead and use that Swirl Slime to banish itself to summon the DD Lamia. We're not going to use that effect of Genghis. We're going to hold it for the time being, and then from here, we're going to use Needlechief's effect. Hopefully you don't have this card, but we're going to go ahead and summon out the DD Ghost. DD Ghost is going to be a great card to get here because not only is it going to give us link fodder for our Gilgachief, but it's also going to get us an extra copy of either Lamia or Swirl Slime in our graveyard, and also return one of our banished DD cards, I believe, or Dark Contract cards as well. So this card is absolutely great. So we're going to link these two now. This, of course, going to go to the extra deck, and then we'll use our chain links as follows. Chain link 1, chain link 2, Lamia, or Ghost will send actually another copy of Lamia here. Stocking up on extra Lamias, I think, is great. Because if you do have to like preemptively use one early in your grave and it does get banished by its own effect, you can use Ghost to sort of get that extra copy to have in there to revive off somebody else's effect, whether it be Genghis or Gale, Alexander, whatever it may be. And then we're going to get our scales now. We're going to get our Ragnarok, and of course, one of the better extenders in the scales, the DD Chaos King Apocalypse. So let's get everything all organized here. We still have this Ash in our hand, which isn't going to do us much. but it may for the following turn. So these are now placed in the scale, and this is where the hard part begins, essentially. So it's really just trying to determine what we're going to do right now from here. We do have a Necro Slime play that is easily visible, and if we do that, we can special summon a Genghis, trigger the effect of Abyss Ragnarok to summon out the other Genghis, and debate if we want to use the Genghis effect from there. Because our end goal right now is to try to get the rank 6, what is his actual name? I always forget. Wayhive King Caesar. And yes, I'm also finally playing the Duo Dawn King Kali Yuga in the extra deck. I've finally cut the hot garbage that is number 38. And I think I'm going to be sticking with the Kali Yuga for the time being. So, from here, let's go ahead and get the show on the road by going ahead and banishing the Swirl Slime. And alongside it, we can go ahead and banish the Ghost, because we have an extra Lamia banished already from the Allure of Darkness. And then we're going to go ahead and fusion summon for the Flame King Genghis. Now from here, we'll go ahead and use the effect of Ghost to put back Lamia to the graveyard. Actually, we might not actually want to do that. Instead, we're going to put Ghost back, or not Ghost, we're going to put back the Necro Slime, because we want that level 1 in our graveyard to be able to revive, to have, to be able to synchro with the monster that we're going to summon off of Needlefiber. So we want that level 1 engrave, and Necro Slime is the good candidate for that. So now once we've summoned the Genghis, we'll activate Abyss Ragnarok's effect. We'll take 1,000 damage. Our opponent will also take half battle damage for the rest of the turn. Now from here, we want to go ahead and use Flame King Genghis' effect to go ahead and revive a DD monster from our graveyard just like that. Now at this point, we're going to go ahead and overlay into the High Wave Caesar just like that. Now from here, with our graveyard still looking pretty good, we're going to actually be able to pull this off. So we'll special summon the Chaos King Apocalypse by banishing 2 of these monsters from our graveyard just like that. And then we'll use Lamia's effect to send away the Gilgachief. And then we'll synchro with the Chaos King Apocalypse, banish this Lamia, of course, by its own effect. And that allows us to synchro into the Cursed King himself. And then that will pretty much do it for our turn. Now the board is incomplete. We're going to be completing the rest of the board once our opponent's turn comes around, because that's when the Needlefiber will come in clutch. And we also have this extra Ash Blossom in hand too, which is really nice. But the first thing that they do that we're able to chain to, we're going to use the Needlefiber. And Needlefiber is going to summon out the Shooting Riser Dragon. Shooting Riser Dragon's effect will activate to send, and then we'll immediately chain the effect to synchro. So what will happen then is we will synchro into the Borreload Savage Dragon. The other effect of Shooting Riser Dragon will resolve. Its level will not have to worry about being modified since it is no longer on the field. We're going to go ahead and send another copy of Ghost. Then when new chains will activate of Borreload Savage and Ghost, we can block, I believe, with the Ghost, and then equip the Gilgamesh to the Borreload Savage Dragon. And just like that, we have a fusion play set up for next turn. And we also have basically 5 interruptions on our field. We have a lot to work with here. Granted, we don't even need to send the Ghost. We could go so far as to send a Swirl Slime to revive anything from our hand. We could send a Coppernicus, whatever it may be. We have plenty of options to go through. And yeah, going for the Ghost off of the Shooting Riser might be pretty good idea, since we do have a lot of banished cards as is. And if we do get access to the Swamp King contract, we can put some of those cards back into our grave slowly but surely. But yeah, pretty strong board there. Really happy with how that one turned out. Let's go ahead and see if this luck continues. And maybe we'll pull off some different plays as well, taking advantage of the Cross Sheep in here, because Cross Sheep I find is a fantastic card in here. Like, I'm only playing 3 links in the extra deck right now. Just the Needlefiber, the Gilgamesh, and the Cross Sheep. Cross Sheep coming up the least, surprisingly, in a deck like this. But Needlefiber into Gilgamesh, I find, is just a really, really strong play. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle here. We'll go ahead and do another going first test hand. Alright, so the deck has been shuffled. Let's go ahead and draw into our next hand. And that last hand really sort of showing the importance of draw power within this deck, because you do, at the end of the day, you got to see your combo pieces, your main starters, or you're not going to be doing too much. This hand, no draw spells, unfortunately, but we still have cards to work with here. Alright, so for this hand, after a little bit of thinking, because this deck does require more brain cells than I feel like I have sometimes, I'm going to go ahead and start with the Dark Contract here. The thing that's a little rough about this hand is, again, we don't have access to sort of all three of the pieces, which is like having slime, both slimes, and then like a tuner to go along with that. I think that is our problem with this hand. So now we're going to fusion by using the slime and the Ragnarok. Another play we could have done was like use this to get Kepler. Kepler gets the Dark Contract with the Swamp and fuse that way instead of getting Swirl Slime. But I guess it really doesn't make too big of a difference at the end of the day. Now we're going to go ahead and fusion for that, as we just did, and then we'll use the Swirl Slime to summon out the Coppernicus, and then we'll use Coppernicus' effect. We're not going to use the Genghis effect just yet, and what I'm going to do here is use that to send the Necro Slime to the grave, and then from here we have a few options. Since we have not used the Genghis effect yet, what we can do is link these into a copy of Gilgamesh, and then use Gilgamesh's effect on activation, or on summon rather, to go ahead and get, let's see here. We can go ahead and grab, we could possibly make a pendulum summon also, which would be kind of nice, I guess. So we could just go for low scale, high scale type deal, which would involve us going for, per se, we could go for this, and then just for the high scale, we can go for the Kepler as a scale 10. We are going to be locked into summoning DDDs for the rest of the turn, but I think that's alright. We can go ahead and pendulum summon the Ragnarok, use Ragnarok's effect to go ahead and summon out the Genghis. And now from here, we can go ahead and fusion using these two to go for the other Genghis, the other small Genghis, just like that. And then from here, we can overlay into the rank 6, just like that. And that's really all we can do. This hand was pretty rough, and I feel like we ended on something that was at least halfway decent. We have an impermanence to work with as well. Yeah, that's really about it for things that we can do with that hand. I'm pretty sure as people watching, you guys will probably figure out other plays that could be done, but that one was rather rough since we did not get access to a tuner. Probably could have made a Siegfried on top of that if we had access to a tuner. Just, you know, a little hard going with that hand. But yeah, let's go ahead and shuffle here and do another test hand. Alright, did a quick pile shuffle. Let's start this hand off, and hopefully it is better than the last and as good as the first. Lamia, into the darkness, into the void, layer of darkness. Oh my god. DD Lamia, Allure of Darkness, into the void, Upstart Goblin, and our fifth and final card is the Where Art Thou? This is a very weird hand. We'll start with the Into the Void. We draw a copy of Gust. Then we'll start with the Upstart Goblin and draw into a copy of Swirl Slime. Then from here, we can go ahead and use the Allure and see what we draw into Ash Blossom and the Oblivion King Abyss Ragnarok. Here I'm going to banish the Ghost since we don't need that in our hand currently. And then from here, we can normal summon the Lamia, and we'll go ahead and play the Where Art Thou. I also think that I'm now realizing that I forgot. I think in the first test hand we used Into the Void and we had an Ash in our hand. Obviously that would have gotten discarded unless I'm misthinking that and that didn't happen. But yeah, that probably did happen. Either way, it doesn't make too big of a deal. We're going to add the Necro Slime though off of our Where Art Thou. I'm really glad this card is actually getting a rarity bump too. I hope a lot of other cards in this deck get rarity bumps. We did draw our Ash here, which is unfortunate. I figured it's more acceptable to play hand traps in this deck now, especially if Into the Void is at 1. I feel like sometimes having those hand traps can be pretty valuable. Just, you know, to slow the opponent down if you don't win the die roll. But now we're going to fusion. We're going to go right into Genghis, and then we're just going to link them away into none other than the Needlefiber. Needlefiber is going to go ahead and grab access to the Ghost. We did lose a Ghost earlier to the Allure, but it's fine. We do play a second copy, at least I do anyways. I'm playing 2 Ghosts and also 3 Lamia. And playing multiple copies of Ghost helps because, you know, we're playing Desires also. So from here, it's just a matter of trying to figure out how to essentially pull off the full combo. I'm going to use the Swirl Slime here to go ahead and summon out the Oblivion King Abyss Ragnarok. Here we have the opportunity, if we would like, to summon out Genghis here. But I don't think we need to do that. I don't think we even need to use that effect, because if we do... actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and summon it out right now. Hopefully this doesn't bite me in the ass later. So now we're going to go ahead and link into Gilgamesh right there in the center. We'll use our effects Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2. Ghost will activate, of course, sending another monster in our grave that's already in there. I'm going to send another copy of Lamia. And now when we Necro Slime, it is important that we banish it with Ghost. So we can get that level 1 monster back into our grave. And of course, almost forgot, we got to get our scales out of the deck just like that. So from here, we can go ahead and fusion now using the Ghost and the Necro Slime. And we'll go ahead and summon out a copy of Genghis. We have a couple opportunities to activate some chains. We can go ahead and use, per se here, chain links will be as follows. Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, Ghost will put this back, and the Genghis will summon out a copy of Lamia. So once we summon the Lamia off the Genghis, I think the next step would be to summon a copy of the Gale Alexander. Our graveyard is a little low on resources, so we're not really going to be able to use the Chaos King Apocalypse, I believe. On that summon, we'll use the effect of Abyss King Ragnarok to summon back out Genghis, and then from here, we'll use Alexander's effect to get the Necro Slime back onto the board. And then here, I think would be a good point to go ahead and overlay into our rank 6. And then we can go ahead and use Lamia's effect here as one of our last things to summon itself out by sending away the Gilgamesh to the grave. So importantly, we have that link monster in grave to be able to equip the Savage Dragon. We'll go ahead and synchro into the Siegfried. The Ash will get discarded in the end phase, but that's okay. We'll also take 2,000 damage. And then during their turn, the first opportunity that we have to chain, we'll banish the Needlefiber, go ahead and summon out the Shooting Riser Dragon. Use his effect on summon and immediately chain the effect to synchro. These will synchro away into the Borreload Savage Dragon. This effect will activate on a new chain. We'll go ahead and check our graveyard and see what card we want to send. I think I'm just going to send off another copy of, we could send Swirl Slime, we could send another Necro Slime, or we could just send a copy of Coppernicus. That is a-okay. And then the effect of Savage Dragon to equip will activate here. And we'll go ahead and put it right there. Play around the Mech Knights the best we can. We're being mindful of that. But yeah, we didn't need to use the Chaos King Apocalypse in our scale there, mainly because our resources were scarce. Hopefully I pulled that off correctly, because that was, I feel like, a stroke of genius after playing some combos with this deck. As difficult as they can be, they feel very rewarding once completed correctly, and once you find that proper sequence, that proper play line, it does feel pretty rewarding. It's like beating a boss in Dark Souls. That's the best way I can describe it. If you played the game, you'll know what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and shuffle the deck though and do another test hand. Alright, the deck has been shuffled here, and I just want to mention, I think now that it's actually come up a couple times in this video, of course, I mean, that is just variance at its finest. But for those of wondering what they, for this particular list, what they could cut the Ash Blossoms for, and I was actually just thinking about it myself, is, you know, since they'll have a conflict with the End of the Void, and we happen to draw it again here in this hand, is possibly dropping both Ashes for a copy of, one for a third Impermanence, and the other for a Vice Typhon, because the Vice Typhon can help to fusion for this guy a lot easier. A good Foolish Burial target if you have other cards that you already need. It could just, yeah, Impermanence doesn't get affected, obviously, by Into the Void the same way that Ash Blossom does. But this is our hand here. Not the greatest. I'm going to start with the Into the Void and see what we draw. We draw a copy of Necro Slime. That makes life a little easier. We'll go ahead and use our Dark Contract with the Gate to grab the the Swirl Slime. We'll normal summon Necro Slime, and then use Where Art Thou to grab the other important level 1 in the deck that is not Kepler. Of course, that is Lamia. We open Coppernicus too, which is pretty nice. I think with this hand, we should be able to pull off the combo. I'm starting to realize that anytime we're sort of getting access to Swirl Slime, Lamia, and Necro Slime, we're starting to get at least close, if not able to pull off the entire combo. But from here, let's go ahead and fusion into the regular Genghis, if I could find him here somewhere. There he is, hiding at the very bottom of the extra deck. Now from here, actually, instead of fusing with the Lamia, let's fuse with the Coppernicus. And then right now we can use the Swirl Slime to banish itself to summon out the Lamia. We could use the effect of Genghis here to revive the Coppernicus, but I don't even think we need to go far enough or go so far as to do that. So let's just go for the Needlefiber. Needlefiber effect will activate, of course, summon it out the Ghost. We'll go ahead and link these two for a copy of that Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh's effect will activate. We'll go ahead and play 2 from the deck into the scales. And we'll go ahead and grab the Apocalypse and the Ragnarok. And we'll get the deck over there. And now we can use the effect of Ghost, which I actually just forgot to use. And I'm going to send actually another Necro Slime as well. Because again, it would have been Chainlink 1 Gilgamesh, Chainlink 2 Ghost. So we do sort of get to chain block the Gilgamesh, but doesn't make too big of a difference since the card cannot be ashed, since we're not sending anything from deck, or summoning anything from deck, or adding anything from deck. But now we'll go ahead and fusion, again, using the Necro Slime and the Ghost. And we'll go ahead and summon out another copy of Genghis. Not the big Genghis, but the small Genghis. And then we'll use Ghost Chainlink, or we'll use this Chainlink 1, or no, Ragnarok Chainlink 1, Ghost Chainlink 2. Ghost will put that back. We'll take 1,000. This will go upside down just so I remember that I used it. And this will summon itself out. And then from here, we can use the effect of the other Genghis that we haven't used yet to summon back out the Necro Slime. And then from here, we'll overlay into our rank 6. Again, this card is so good because its effect is not a once per turn. We can use it up to twice, as many times as it has materials. And then now, we can go ahead and use the Lamia to send off the Gilgamesh to the graveyard, not to the extra deck. Special summon the Chaos King Apocalypse by banishing the 2 remaining DDD cards in our graveyard. And then here we can synchro into a copy of Siegfried. And as you might have expected, we have pulled off the combo yet again during their turn. Same thing, banish the Needlefiber for its effect. Summon the Shooting Riser Dragon, send a card for its effect, synchro. Synchro for the Borreload Savage Dragon, use its effect, equip the card, and just like that, we have our combo once again. So, yeah, things looking pretty good here. More so than usual, at least for my luck with this deck. Maybe I'm actually starting to learn some combos. But yeah, let's go ahead and do another test hand. Of course, at the end of that one, we would have lost the Ragnarok in our hand, although we could have played it in the scale, and also would be burned for 2,000 damage, which is not too big of a deal, since we do end on a really strong board like that. Alright, just a few more shuffles here, and we'll start this last test hand off, and hopefully we can pull off some Dark Contract with the Eternal Darkness shenanigans. Let's see, we open both of our Gilgamesh targets, Infinite Impermanence, Dark Contract with the Gate, and a copy of Ass Blaster and Giant Forehead. Not really the best hand here. Yeah, no, not really the best hand here at all. I mean, we could set up Dark Contract with the Eternal Darkness. As it stands, it's just not really the optimal way to really go about doing it. Because we could play both of these in the scales, use this to search Kepler. Kepler grabs us the Dark Contract with Eternal Darkness, set Impermanence, hold the Ash, and just go from there. But really, where's the fun in that for the last test hand? Alright, so yeah, there are basically two options with this hand. It's either to do the play that I said, which would be place these guys in the scale, use Dark Contract to go ahead and grab Kepler, and then Kepler grabs the Dark Contract with Eternal Darkness, and we just kind of hunker down like this, because once we activate this, while we have 2 DD cards in our Pendulum Zones, our opponent cannot target monsters in the field with spell and trap effects, tribute them for a tribute summon, nor use them as material for a fusion, synchro, or Xyz summon. So we're basically locking them out of all the summoning mechanics except for like Pendulum plays and Link plays. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty solid lock, but I think, you know, with the hand that we have, it's probably not going to be enough. So we're going to go ahead and play this out a bit differently. We're going to use Dark Contract here to grab a copy of the Swirl Slime. And I think we can make at least something happen here. So this is still on the board. And then we'll go ahead and play the Ragnarok in the scale. And this Ash Blossom is actually going to come in kind of clutch here. We'll go ahead and fusion we could either go for the big Genghis, since we did use a level 5 or higher. But instead, I'm going to go for the small Genghis, just because what I'm going to do now is actually normal summon the Ash Blossom and go ahead and link these two for a Needlefiber. So Ash coming in nice there as our tuner target. But now we'll use the Needlefiber to go ahead and get access to the Lamia. So once the Lamia hits the board, we're going to use the effect of Ragnarok to summon out this. We'll take 1,000 damage, and our opponent will take half battle damage. But from here, we're really not going to have much else to do. I'm going to actually go for Meteor Burst here. We'll summon it there. So once we synchro into the Meteor Burst, we're going to use his effect to summon out the Ragnarok. And then from there, we'll use Ragnarok's on-field effect to summon out a DDD monster from the grave. And from there, we'll summon out Genghis. And since we haven't used Genghis' effect yet, we're going to go ahead and summon Lamia by sending away the Dark Contract. That will trigger Genghis' effect to summon out the Swirl Slime. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and synchro the Meteor Burst and the Lamia into a copy of either... We have to go into Crystal Wing here. We can't go into Siegfried. But from here, we still have one other play that can be done. And that is going to be to link off the Genghis and the Oblivion King Ragnarok to go for Gilgamesh, and then from here we'll use Gilgamesh's effect to go ahead and place 2 cards into our scales. And then from here I'm going to place Thomas and a copy of Kepler, just so we can have an actual pendulum summon play be possible. Now I'm really stretching this one as far as I can, but now we're going to use Thomas to add back this card from our face-up extra deck. We're going to pendulum summon since we have scales 6 through 10, and this is an 8. We'll go ahead and pendulum summon that out for no effect. And honestly, this is where the play stops for me, although one thing that can be said is if we were playing another copy of Gilgamesh, we could link those two into said Gilgamesh. That will leave a link monster in our graveyard, most importantly, allowing us to then set the impermanence, and then during the opponent's turn, use Needlefiber. And again, this is if we were playing a second copy of Gilgamesh, which I might still do in replacement for that Cross Sheep. But this is just a hypothetical. We would summon out the Shooting Riser Dragon, use the Shooting Riser to send a level 1, and then we can synchro with it and the Swirl Slime to go ahead into the Borreload Savage Dragon, seemingly out of that really bad hand. Again, that is if we were playing a second copy of Gilgamesh, which is looking a bit more enticing at this point, because the ability to link into multiple, to not only like we did there to get an extra link engrave for Borreload Savage Dragon, but just to use Gilgamesh's summon to trigger other DDD monsters is also pretty enticing as well. So I'll leave that last hand there open to interpretation. I really took a long time to think about what we could do with that play. In reality, I think we were just ending with the current extra deck build that I have, ending with just Crystal Wing, Impermanence, and Needlefiber. But yeah, that's really about it under those circumstances. But if we had the second Gilgamesh, hypothetically, we could have made the Borreload Savage Dragon on top of that. The main issue was just trying to get another link into the grave while also still being under Gilgamesh's summoning restrictions to DDD only. The only thing there would have been able to link into another Gilgamesh. And yeah, that's really going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. This one took a long time to film because a lot of thinking, making sure I played everything to the best of my abilities. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, Winner Kill signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one.